if you ever feel lost, everybody's kind of a little bit lost,
One of our nieces or nephews are gonna have kids, and they're gonna have kids, and they're gonna have kids, and I'm gonna be watching this stupid. I'm gonna be watching this stupid ass. They're gonna come to my house, and they're gonna be like, Auntie Sam, what's this book? And they're gonna pull your book, and I'm gonna be like, sit down, you little shit. I'm gonna tell you a great story.
I'm gonna have story time now.
And I'm gonna start crying. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Anime Summit Podcast. It's your favorite host of the most, Sam the Bomb. Holla at Chihuahua. And I got another EX episode for you. I know, you're probably going, Sam, another EX episode? God. I know, it must be terrible. It must be so fucking terrible to open your fucking feed and be like, oh my god, I just have so much content to listen to. Oh my god, it must be, yeah, such a shitty, damn. Wow, you're probably rich too. Oh. Anyways, guess what? I am back with another creator series. Let's go. I'm gonna put the horn sound effect right here. But guess what, dude? It's Cousin Mario. Let's go, dude.
Nah, you're making too big a deal, but don't stop. Thank you.
Dude, freaking.
Did you say
Remy,
prickin'?
Prickin'. You prick. No, dude, freaking Remy, the Rem Factor, is on the podcast again. Holla at Chihuahua. And I know a lot of people are big fans, so you can send money to my address. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, because I'm totally going to get it. Look at all this good stuff I bought. Isn't that really neat? Oh, don't mind these envelopes that say your name on it.
Yeah, I got lost in transit. No.
And
like
transit.
Yeah, dude, I listen, you guys know, we've said this before, okay? It's funny because we've had Mario on for a cosplay spotlight. Now we're doing another creator series spotlight where I hang out with other creative types and talk to them what it's like being a creative in this world and how we navigate with current times and things like that. And we've said it. I don't know if he's ever said it on the podcast before, but yeah, you're a writer, bro. You write things. You write stories.
It's true. It's something that, man, like, you don't almost want to like whip out that card and everything. It's like, by the way, I'm an author. Did you know that?
Yeah.
And because it doesn't almost feel like real. Like when you think of author, you got your J.K. Rowling's, you got your, Orson Scott Cards or your whoever, and Stephen King. There's the one I couldn't even think of. It's like, what's the one that he does all the things?
Dean Koontz. No,
Dean Koontz, yeah. But and it's a reality that I just don't think has actually sunk in. I mean, this book's been available since about July of last year, and I've just been kind of working towards getting websites set up for with the publisher, and I've just recently, like a week ago, the audiobook's live now, and you almost don't feel like it's real until you get feedback, until you get people coming to you and be like, I read your book, I like this and I like that. And I've had a few people like talk about, I was like, one person comes to me, he's like, yeah, I read your book. And I was like, oh, cool. What'd you think? It's like, you really wanted me to hate this character, didn't you? I'm like, well, yes, but I hopefully there's some redeeming factors for that in the future. And it's like, oh yeah, that might be a good idea. But getting that feedback on something that you've done, that you put out into the world, it's one of the best feelings. Let me tell you.
It's really wild. It's really wild. Because, this is why I do this series, right? Because I like to relate, and it's kind of like, see if this helps somebody who's listening, right? But, when I did the live cast show with Joel, we had, a tight-knit group of there wasn't a lot of White Schwartz players back then, right? So we had a tight-knit group of people who were dedicated fans, and they were just even if it was just them, it was enough for me to be like, okay, I'm gonna keep doing it. You know what I mean? It was really cool. And now, with the Anime Summit and even my own artwork, people saying that I'm on Pixiv now, and Pixiv is it's like DeviantArt, but I think more for the kind of style of my art. A lot of manga artists and character designers and background designers are on there.
Yeah, isn't that like mostly like it's originally a Japanese website, isn't it? Or
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. And it's crazy seeing there's all kinds of artists on there now, but like it's crazy. I'll upload a thing and it gets like I've never had anything get so many likes or bookmarks or follows in like just a couple hours. It's really fucking cool. So it's like, I don't know, man. And let me tell you this, more to what you're saying, just so the listeners understand. Like, I used to like go hang out with Mario at his house, and as a kid, and he would have these binders, not just like regular binders, like the fucking 4-inch thick ones of manuscripts, just stories he was writing, or one of them was actually a whole book, which I don't know if it was complete, or I don't remember, or if it was just one part of something, or
so you're talking about Ventus, like, so that's
that was it.
That's a story that I wrote a screenplay, like that was one of my big like adventures, like I was gonna send that into Hollywood and I'm gonna make a movie, and that never happened, but it actually is on the back burner and something I'm going to definitely come back to later on, because over the years I kind of like refined what I want that story to be, and it's one of those things now, like you start writing and you just can't stop. Like even with Nevertold, we didn't even say the name of the book yet, have we?
Oh yeah. No.
By the way, the book is called Nevertold.
Yeah, the book we're talking about is called Nevertold. Yeah.
Yeah, Nevertold The Son is the first in probably a 6-book series is what I'm thinking it's going to be. And yeah, now that I start the first one, especially if you get those people who are reading, they're clamoring for more stuff. And as books go, it's like these things take a while. And now I've got to like just be really diligent about writing like consistently and taking time and getting, because I want to do like one a year. Like that should be the bare minimum to keep pace with what I want to do. And but there's all the things like let me tell you. So no one warned me not to do an audiobook, and I loved it. Like it was a fun process, sitting in the room yelling at a microphone for a while and doing that thing was great. But the editing, man, like I didn't think it was going to be that much work, and it like, cuz again, I just finished the audiobook, and this book was technically finished back in June of last year.
Yeah,
so
and we were waiting to do this until the audiobook was done.
Right. Because I felt that fit more with what you guys do, and at least you can have that audio part. If you listen to podcasts, it's more likely you're going to listen to audio books and stuff like that. So
yeah.
And even me, like I don't really read much, which is a funny thing.
Me neither. No, me neither. Like I don't fucking read. Like
right.
Absolutely,
Words are hard.
How do you word?
How do you word? The cow jumped over the moon.
One fish, two fish.
Red fish, you dead fish.
Red fish, you dead fish. Yeah.
But I didn't like growing up. I never read because I'm dyslexic to an extent where it just made it hard to read. Now it's not like I can't read. Like which side do I go? Which left turn do I take? Oh no, it's off a cliff. And no, it's and it always made it difficult. So I kind of stayed away from books. Movies were my thing. Like I love movies. Like movies, that visual display. Like you can understand like so much in just a look or just a single frame of a movie or anything if done right. And that they all say a picture's worth 1,000 words, right? And for movies, it was just like that constant, like being constantly fed like the information. And with a book, it just seemed like it's such a weird process, because when you write a book, you slow down. Like, you take that part by part and you're able to analyze it. So writing a book is way, way different than reading a book. So it became this very much more rewarding process than trying to get through a book. But
for you, it did.
Yeah. But I did listen. I've listened to a few audiobooks too. I mean, over the years, and they help. But even find time to do that, it's been a slog. Or if you're at work trying to listen to an audiobook and people keep interrupting you, and then you have to like start over, and then you lose your like immersion and all that stuff. So
yeah, thankfully at my current job, when I'm on emails, I can have like music or a podcast going, and so Mario let me have the first few chapters, and I listening to them while I was on emails, you know, so like, I don't have to be on the phone, which is nice. If I have to call someone, then I would pause it. But like, you know, wasn't a big deal at all. It was really nice to listen to it in the background. And I got an early copy of the book, like a G, because I'm a fucking G again. And
it's called nepotism. That's why I'm on this podcast.
Nepotism. Yeah, everyone shut up. But no, like, yeah, so again, for me, I don't know if I have the same issue as Mario. It's just that I'm not big on books. I don't know. I would rather read a comic. I would rather read a manga, you know? So that's kind of been my thing, I guess. I've read like 5 books in my whole life, well, 6 now, including this one. You know, one of them was I Am Jackie Chan by Jackie Chan. But like, you know, I
seriously?
Yeah.
Is it just have a bunch of like him punching and just a bunch of images of them like
I don't want any trouble.
Here's a ladder in face.
Yeah. Yeah, ladder, yeah.
Because he's always doing something with ladder. Like that's
like ladders and pool cues.
Yeah,
no,
right.
Like so like but if I sit down and just fucking read it, I can get through a book, right? It's just sometimes it's hard for me to keep my attention there because there's not a visual aspect, because I'm very much that person. I'm not good at the average, probably like bookworm would probably be able to, you know, they like that feeling of being able to imagine, right?
Right.
And as they're reading a book, and I like doing that too. It's just like it's harder for me to do it. So, but with this, when I was reading it and I started going, and given the little visuals that we have, like on the cover, we have the main character and his mom, and then we have Mario included a map of the country that we're in, and that I kept referring to that map when reading the book, so that helped. But like the way Mario has written it, and look. Okay, hold on a sec. Let me stop for a second. Let me just sorry. Let me just preface this, because everyone's gonna be like, "Well, Son, that's your fucking cousin." I know, bitch, but just hold on. Like,
yeah, but you can still be objective. Like,
yeah, like I've never bullshitted Mario. Okay, he's never bullshitted me. You know, like I've shown him my work, even like as a budding graphic artist. I've been like, Mario, what do you think of this? And he's been like, you know, what if you did this, or you could do this, and you know, like I if I thought Mario was going to fail me and lie to me like that, I would not show him the stuff. Okay, so you know, Mario knew that I was not going to, like, he knows that I'm not a big reader. He knows that especially I'm not really lately not really as big into high fantasy like some of this is, and actually most of this is pretty high fantasy. There's a bunch of, you know, it takes place in a fantastical world, but like, man, when I got into it, for me, it was the characters, okay? And for me, it was the way you made it easy, and maybe that has to do with how you consume books too, and maybe that's why you wanted to write something that you wanted to, how you wanted it to be, you know what I mean? Like, you wanted it, like, if I were to read a book, I'd want it like this, right? And maybe that's why I made it easy for me, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, I felt like I could definitely visualize things easier than when I've read other books before. So,
I think you really did hit it a little bit on the nose there, because one of the things is I never have really liked a lot of the fantasy genre. I think because I always was a big sci-fi guy. Like, I wanted good sci-fi, like, you know, give me Evangelion, Star Trek, Star Wars, you know, Fifth Element, all this kind of stuff, you know. And so it's not like I'm not arrogant enough to think like, oh, I can do it better. No, it's just like I have a story, or I have some stuff that I wanted to do, you know. And like, I give a lot of respect to anyone who writes, anybody who, you know, puts that story out there, puts himself up to not ridicule, but, you know, just judgment in general, and
critics and scrutiny and the like.
Absolutely. And because, like, I watched Lord of the Rings, and people are gonna hate me for this. I watched Lord of the Rings, and I didn't much care for it. Like, I watched Harry Potter, and I just was kind of bored. But then again, some of these things weren't made for me, especially like Harry Potter. Like you grew up reading Harry Potter, and it was just that phenomenon, and everybody watched it, and it was great for them. And I've watched all the movies and everything.
Yeah.
And it was just like, okay, but I can see why people like it. Not for me. Lord of the Rings. So much respect for Lord of the Rings because of what it started in general. Like, you know, that whole genre of like fantasy, high fantasy basically came from Lord of the Rings. You know, even stuff that Final Fantasy uses like mithril from Lord of the Rings in its games.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
You know, and so it's just like, you know what? I want that fantasy, I want that magic, but I want to, you know, as everyone wants to do their own thing, right? And so I came with a magic system. I came up with a type of people. I came up with all these things. And it all started, honestly, with the idea of what would you do with a race of people who are so reliant on, they're majority female, but are solely reliant on having this single male be like indentured slavery, servitude to their people for more or less breeding purposes and everything. And how would you raise this kid knowing that this is what their inevitable like ending would be? You know, they're using them for this stuff. And so
and like
it's
but before, I don't want to get too much into spoiler territory until later,
Yeah.
but like, go ahead, continue. That's basically the premise.
right.
The main character is the son.
It says it on the back. I could read the back.
Oh yeah, read the book of the back. Yeah, read the back of the book.
But it's mostly like it's a lot about family. It's a lot about, you know, just purpose and what duty is to a tribe, because it's almost like an Amazonian tribe. It's a tribe of women. Like, do you choose family or duty? Do you choose freedom or, like, you know, fidelity to your people and stuff like that? So I wanted just to like have that fantasy setting, but like you said, focusing on the people. Like, these people had to be real. These people had to have, you know, the purpose and want. And I know a lot of books do this. All books, you know, good books will do that, you know, because you're not so much drawn. You'll excuse mistakes if you like the characters enough. Like, that's why tons of people loved Twilight and why tons of people liked Hunger Games and all this stuff. You know, it may not have been great, but people were sucked in by those characters and just maybe wanting to see what's going to happen to them. You know.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that will be the case too. I don't have any delusions that I'm going to be like top tier here, but I think I can make a decent living and get some people to follow.
Well, and like, here's the thing, okay? Like, when you think of a high fantasy story, maybe you do think of like just in general, right? And listen, okay, just like there's a ton of podcasts out there, there's also a ton of bands out there. Just like there's a ton of bands out there, there's a ton of painters out there. Just like there's a ton of painters out there, there's a ton of writers out there, okay? And God only knows the percentage of those writers who are high fantasy writers, okay? But like, when you think of the general idea of high fantasy stories, whether it's a video game or a book or whatever, and maybe a video game might be a bad example because that always has like a call to arms and all that stuff in it. But like, this was not that kind of story. This was just about the characters and their roles in this society, quote unquote. And there's action in it. Like, there's fucking beasts and the Valkies and, you know, the big beasts and everything, and creatures and all that stuff. There's crystals that curate the energy and magic that flows through the people. There's the main group of people have, you know, horns and scales and things like that. But like, this isn't it's about, and I was telling Mario this off the recording, but I may have taken this, I may have related to it or taken this story differently than someone else might, because even though Mario has no experience like on what it feels like to be someone like me, I related to it in a way, going through the woes I've gone through with gender dysphoria. And like, it's something about like, there's a critique in society in the book, and I'm like, damn, like literally that, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, I don't know, like it's you know, I'm not saying I'm not a fan of this stuff where it's like, okay, we have to pull out your sword and get a party of people and go quest, fight the dragon, slay the dragon, fantasy kind of shit. I love some of that stuff. Don't get me wrong. I'm for that stuff. I've played D&D. Okay, I got a D20, but like, this is not that kind of fantasy story. This is the kind of fantasy story that I was sucked into because of the characters and their roles in society and what they do. And the main character, Kemahni, I just say K. I just call him K. But like,
Yeah,
he is the only male here, and so, and when you read the first chapter, I'm gonna spoil the first chapter, but like, you know, it's his birth. So like, and then when you start progressing through, it does these little mini time skips up until he is supposed to fulfill this role as a male. And there's some things in here where history is clouded a little bit. You know, they don't tell everyone. There's things in here where, like, you know, there's queer relationships, you know what I mean? Like, most of the women in here are excited to see Kemahni, right? Because he's the male, right? But like, there's other characters in here that are like, plus or minus, I go for some tits. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like, you know, and that's cool too. There's people exploring themselves, not physically or sexuality wise, but just like as in like their role in the tribe or in society. Like, it's not just like, I mean, mostly it's about Kemahni, right? And it's about K and his role, but like, because of what he's going through, other characters experience these like things where they're like, am I supposed to be this? What am I supposed to do? Right. Like, is it right that I believe this thing? And it's like, I don't know. It kind of got me to think, like, it didn't make me think different than I already thought. It made me think that, okay, there's other people thinking like I am thinking, even in a fantastical society like this one. You know what I mean? Like,
sure. I mean, definitely, I love that. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
but
I'm done. I'm done. Or else I'll go for another 2 hours.
You finished?
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, and it's wonderful. And I wanted you to talk for a while, but for the simple fact that listening to your perspective, like a totally like outside perspective on, because for me, it's all about what you take away from it, you know, and
sure,
you can take out. Like, I hope that everybody connects to somebody. Like, you know, Kemahni's mother, Saleal, like, I hope
goat?
if you're... Yeah, right?
She's the goat, dude.
If you're a mother yourself, you can understand some of her actions and reactions to things and everything, you know. If you talk about Kiade, like one of his friends or whatever...
Oh, man, I didn't even think of it like that. I'm not even a fucking parent, dude. So, like, I'm imagining a parent reading this.
Right.
Oh,
you know, so
fuck, dude.
I hope people get that and come to me. It's like, hey, I really love that. Like, you know, it made me be, again, I don't want to be pretentious, but like, made me be a better person, maybe be like a better mother, maybe think about it this, that way or whatever. And, you know, one of the funniest things, so I had a beta reader read this.
Nice.
And she said, it's not normally my genre, but just because I know you or I'm associated because of another person I know. Yeah, I'll read it. And she's very voracious for reading books. And so she read it, and she's a speed reader. So she did it like on a weekend. I'm like, Jesus. Like, but she read it, and she's like, you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't say that at first. I was very worried about, how'd she say it? She said, of a guy writing females or, somebody writing, sorry, I get this wrong. She said the male gaze writing female or something like that.
Yeah,
like, you know,
which
a male would interpret female. And she's like, and you have done it better than I have seen, like, people who have been writing this field for a long time, because it wasn't like gratuitous, nothing in, like, I give myself a PG-13, like nothing's gratuitous, but I still want to have that intimacy at times, but I still wanted to have like that interactions where it's just like, you don't know what to do, but you're expected to do something, but you are flying blind, like all this stuff. And I really appreciate those comments, because I want people to be surprised at some point for whatever reason. You know, I want people to take something away from this. And remember it. And like, and I think to your point that you made earlier, we're all, there's so many people doing all the same things, right? You know, all the writers and the painters and whatever, but we're building, like, the internet has given us the opportunity to build these small communities, these small little microcosms of people who want to share the same things. And you can find, you know, an audience easier and more broadly, because you can reach a lot more people. So the trick is, of course, is to get those people to find you, or just to get the word out. So, you know, I've been doing cons too, and just talking to people and just trying to get them on board with what's going. And I try not to be pushy. It's like, yeah, you should really buy this book. I think it's gonna change your life, you know, or whatever. But people seem interested, and I'm hoping that these people who write or read the book will go and write a review, because I need other people to tell people that they enjoy this. And then it's not even, heck, if you didn't enjoy this, tell me. Like, because I will always take honest critique. Like, I will take any kind of knowledge that might help me be better, because in the end, isn't that the whole game of it? We just all trying to be better. And so I really like, again, your perspective that, you know, I know there's a little bit, because we're family and everything, that you read it and you wanted to know or to help me out, or just kind of know a little bit more about me, because I think that's it too. Because in art, in any form, you know, you put a little bit of yourself into it, so there is a little bit of me. You know, it's not like me trying to live vicariously through Kemahni, because to be honest, when you read the book, you're not going to want to live that life. Because I know what everybody's thinking. It's just like, oh, one dude and a bunch of girls. Heck yeah, sign me up, you know. And
yeah, no, yeah. Like I.
But yeah,
it's
so
funny.
it's a
no. I literally, because at first I had that thought a little bit. I was like, but no, there's something weird going on here. Like that should be there's literally a red flag right away. It's literally like, why are they making such a big, weird, cultish like deal out of this? Like, it's super goofy. And I was like, all right, keep reading. Hold on. But yeah, no, like, well, you know, and that's a good point to what your beta reader said, because like, Mario, you got fucking dudes out here describing people like me, like, her chest still manly. It's like, dude, I don't want to know my chest is manly. Fuck you. Like, or when they're talking about like you know, a woman with boobs and a vagina, and they're like, her breasts are fully breasted upon her pussy lips.
Jesus.
Whatever bullshit. Like,
breastification.
Like, yeah, breastification. Like, what are you writing, bro? What are you doing?
I mean, but
like,
there's a whole sect of like people who are after that romance like novel and everything. Like,
oh yeah,
like book porn basically. And I mean, more power to them. Like
erotica. Yeah.
And then more power to them, because you find something that you enjoy, and, you know, just do it. As long as, you know, not hurting anybody, go for it. Yeah. And, you know, I always wondered about that too. It's like, I don't want to say I didn't do it because I think it's easy. I just didn't think it fit, or at least not yet. I mean, maybe sometime during, even then, I don't think I would get too graphic, because I think you can do a lot without being too over the top. And
yeah, show, don't tell.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And like, no one, like, there's again, if you read it, there's I think it's the 12th or 13th chapter where something happens, and it's just like, I'd be like, oh yeah, he put his mouth around her areola or something like that. You know, it just, it didn't need that. It doesn't, because again, the whole purpose of this and the expectations of people in the book is so skewed because of that necessity that they need of their people and Kemahni and all these things. And that's the big thing I was trying to tell. Like, if anything, my book, rightfully so, like you said again, is about purpose, expectations, and the roles we play. And that's really, I mean, there's going to be so much like fun stuff that I get to do later. And I'm really excited for getting to like the later books, because like I'm going to keep ramping up like the danger and the overarching themes and the big bad and everything. And when I get there, it's going to be quite the moment. I'm telling you, like, I don't even know what I'm gonna do with myself, because at least if anything, I can say that I did this, and maybe gain a little immortality if these books continue on and like are passed down or whatever.
Yeah.
So I might say, like, this is an heirloom. Keep this book because the story is really good and you should read it. Or hey, read this book because if you ever feel lost, everybody's kind of a little bit lost.
One of our nieces or nephews are gonna have kids, and they're gonna have kids, and they're gonna have kids, and I'm gonna be watching this stupid. I'm gonna be watching this stupid ass. And they're gonna come to my house, and they're gonna be like, Auntie Sam, what's this book? And they're gonna pull out your book, and I'm gonna be like, sit down, you little shit. I'm gonna tell you a great story.
We're gonna have story time now.
And I'm gonna start crying.
And smoking a cigar for some reason.
Sit down. I'm gonna be like Cruella de Vil. I have one of those cigarette like holder things.
Sure, those long ones, yeah.
Just like, sit down, you little shit. I'm gonna tell you this is a great story.
Except
it's the greatest story ever told.
It's the greatest story never told. Do you think
Uncle Mario wrote it?
Do you think in the future they're gonna have those like long like Cruella de Vil like cigarettes, but it's just gonna be a vape pen, like a really long vape pen? And like
yeah.
A cherry.
I'm hoping that we get in the future we get those cigarettes that are like from the Fifth Element, where it's
with the like mostly
just...
filter.
Yeah.
That'd be so
That's
funny.
good, man. But no,
Speaking of like, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, speaking of Fifth Element, I was just thinking about there's that one perfect scene, and I was thinking about like I hate watching movies nowadays because I'll see something I was like, oh man, I'll never be that good. They're like perfect or whatever. But Fifth Element's got a scene where at the beginning of the film he's smoking those cigarettes, Bruce Willis's character, but he shakes his match pack and everything, and he's only got a few left. He opens it up and you see just like one or two. And then throughout the movie, he's using them, and that's the last thing he needs to activate Lilu. And it's like that setup and payoff is like the best thing ever. Like, I love that movie. Like, and I hope that like someday I can do something relatively just as clever and smart and just fun, But we'll see. Time will tell.
Well, that's the great thing about this, right? Because this is like one of 5 or 6 books. And so if the next one, and I know I was saying all that stuff earlier about, excuse me. I know I was saying all that stuff earlier about like, oh, it's not your typical high fantasy and has this. But like once we get like 3 or 4 books in and, maybe that 4th book turns out to be something like that, I won't even care. Because at that point, I'm already invested in the characters and I'm like, okay, shit, now we about to do some shit. Because like there is a whole lore behind this. It's in the beginning of it's explained in the beginning of the book, obviously. The main people that we're looking at here are a hybrid people of these beast people called Valkies, and then they got together with humans and whoops. So like that's what we're looking at here. And so there's, oh man, that was another part that I kind of took away from it too. There's this thing in it where, and I don't know if you would call it, and I don't know if you meant, again, that's why I was prefacing by saying I don't know if you meant to do that or if you did, because again, I may have taken things from it that might not have been there.
Would it make you think higher of me? Then yes, I did it.
Yes, it would, honestly.
Yeah,
because
okay.
like
I totally did it. Whatever you're about to say, I did it. It was plan all along.
Honestly, I think you did do it on purpose. But like, there's commentary in that about being mixed race. There's commentary in here a little bit. It's not over the top. It's not like the main thing, but there's animosity towards other races. And I wouldn't necessarily call it racism, like where it's like, oh, you got horns and a scale, but you got blue eyes. Fuck you. It's not any of that. It's just like, it's purely in its rawest form. It's, you're different because you're this, and we don't mix, and therefore I have animosity towards you. It's like the people in fucking Ireland. Okay, you're from one town over, so I hate your guts, and they start fighting each other. But like,
well, obviously that guy was an imposter because I was Scottish.
Oh yeah.
Crikey, where's this guy coming from?
That's
what are you doing in Ireland?
Yeah.
I mean, I get. What the Blarney Stone? Here to die. Is that offensive? I don't know. I'm such a like. We've been talking about this, me and my wife recently. We are parrots, and it's really bad because we will imitate like sounds or like accents or anything just for the fact because we want to know that we can do them. Like we.
Oh
we
yeah,
like
no.
to,
It's an amazing ability. Yeah.
Right. So, but then it's just like you'll do something that may or may not be quote unquote offensive, you know, and we don't mean anything by it. We just want to know we can do it. And even if you listen to the audiobook, you'll hear this too. So my mother, she's Hispanic and she still has a very thick accent because she came over here after she was like 16, I believe, when she came over. And so I very much, you know, my mother's been a big thing in my life, and she's been a very stalwart person, and you know, she's worked very hard her entire life, and I've always seen that. I mean, I don't think there was a weekend where she didn't work like overtime at the factory she worked at, and I've always admired that. Like, you know, nothing. And she would always tell me growing up too that there's nothing that me and you can't do, and it's something that has stuck with me, and it's in the book too. Like, there's a time where Saleal says it to Kemahni, and I put it there specifically for my mom. But oh shoot, I lost my train of thought.
Accents.
Accent. Thank you. See,
Yeah.
that's why I have you here. But I do an accent for my mother, and
I do.
I do the voice of mother because I wanted actually. So in the audiobook, it's me and my wife Kate who is doing the audio, and she'll do a lot of the female voices, and I'll do a lot of Kemahni, and then some of the more masculine type females. Like there's a Ashava and then Saleal, only because, and I only did Saleal because Kate was like, I don't think I can do a Hispanic accent. I'm like, don't not worry, I've Puss in Boots, I can do this. And so I just did a little bit, like, it's like, Kemahni, it's okay. Don't worry, it's be fine, you know. And it just is a very slight thing, and I wanted to give that, but then I started thinking, it's like, oh man, then that means like every like tribe is gonna have like a different accent and everything, and it's like, why doesn't Kemahni have an accent? Like, oh well, I've already done it, so we're Saleal
it
now
could be like
has
a evolving language, new gen thing, you know, maybe just the
Yeah.
younger people in the tribe. But like,
Sure.
but that's a good point though, because that's your experience, right? So like, going to parties at your mom's house for holidays and shit, it wasn't just Hispanic people there. There was my Asian dad there, number one. Number two, there was fucking Cubans and shit there. You know what I mean? Like there was Guatemalans there. There was a ton of different, and not all those accents are the same. Okay, some of them are super different. You know, like
Right.
your mom and my mom have Hispanic accents, yes, but like, you know, when we would be over at your mom's house or whatever, there was like a fucking Guatemalan guy there or a Puerto Rican guy, their accents were pretty different. You know what I mean? So like, and I think I think that's like, for you and me, those are just our experiences. So it's like I often imitate my dad and my mom on my podcast because if I'm telling if I'm telling a story and I'm like, yeah, my dad was like, you know, like, oh son, you don't put attention. You know what I mean? Like,
Like those, you're always missing those few words in a sentence, but like you still get what they're saying.
yeah.
You know what the weirdest thing with the weirdest thing that with my mom was, and my dad especially, is that my friends would like do their voices and everything, and I'm like, come on guys, they don't sound like that and everything.
Yeah.
And then I would go home, and my mom would say something, my dad would say something. It's like, oh shit, they do sound like that.
Shit.
And I was
Yeah.
like,
My friends do that shit all the time, and I'm always like, dude, shut up. And then I get home, and then I'd be like, okay, now I gotta adapt this into my repertoire of accent somehow, because they do sound like that.
yeah, right.
But like, even oftentimes, our big thing on our podcast now is doing a New Yorker. So we're always whenever we answer the listener question of the week, and like Danny or Nick will say their answer, I'll be like, good answer, good answer, good answer.
Yo, you got some Stromboli over there.
Yeah. This show came out called Reincarnated as a Sword. I know, it's an isekai.
Another isekai.
Yeah, and I was like, the way I said it was like reincarnated as a sword. And for some reason, Nick thought that was the funniest fucking shit. But no, and our big thing on our podcast is I'll do Asian accents, right? Because that was my experience. Like, I grew up watching anime with a lot of Asian people, and you, right? So, and then also we'll do British accents a lot for some reason. I don't fucking know why. But we always just because like we want to see if we can. You know what I mean? Like we want to see if we're good at it.
It's just
because
fun.
it's funny.
Yeah.
You know, it's culture shock to us forever. You know what I mean? So like it's interesting hearing.
Well, maybe you should
voices.
culture yourself a little more.
You should culture yourself a little more, gun. But yeah, crikey, you know. But like I get that though, and that makes sense. I mean, that's your experience to put it in your book, and especially your audiobook. I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, when you go to another tribe, it could be like it could be somewhat of like another South American or, accent like that, or.
Basically, I think I just made all the people south because now I'm thinking about it, and I'm writing the second book, and Saleal is from a more southern tribe, so I was like, oh god, I just made them all Mexicans, like. And then there's Eja, who is a chiefess currently. She's from like a more I think eastern tribe. I think that's where I'm gonna have it. Either way, she's got a British accent for whatever reason, and it's like Star Wars, where like there's Brits in space for whatever reason, and but none of her daughters talk British. I guess I don't know.
But that's mentioned in the story too, though, right? Because like, didn't humans all congregate into one part of the country after the Valkyries started like going like fuck you and shit? Well,
there's again, I think once I develop into the story, and the good thing is I know where all this is going, so it's not like I'm not gonna be George George. What the hell is his name? George R. Martin.
George R. Martin.
Yeah. There'll be an ending, and I already know what it's gonna be, and already know where it's gonna go. But it's they'll talk about that a lot, about how they came together, how the Valkus and the Children of Man. I call them Children of Man because human was not cool enough, I guess. And
Children of Man sounds cooler. It sounds more like rustic lore sounding.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah.
And they came together as part of a bonding to actually to mend and to kind of come to an understanding. And that's why. So the Manyari, as much as they are like kind of outcast now, they were at one time seen as this beautiful union and like creation of the two. So that will be a fun story to tell as well.
It's interesting that you bring this up. Actually, that's another thing I want to compliment too. Is it definitely doesn't seem like you Tetsuya Nomura this. You know what I mean? Like
that I didn't what?
Tetsuya Nomura. He's the lead creator of Kingdom Hearts.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. I did not know that.
It turns out Roxas is Sora, and Sora is your mother. No, like no,
and you're half Sora, but also Roxas is like your half brother who came back in time with what's the girl, the purple girl, Aqua.
The purple girl.
I think she's blue, obviously, because her name is Aqua.
He died, but we'll bring him back. No, like with the Dragon Balls. No, like it literally, when you talk about, because there's obviously, I think, Mark, what you're trying to do is sprinkle in the history and then peel back the layers. Obviously, when we get to like the last book, it's going to be all out there, right?
Yeah.
And that reminds me of like Attack on Titan, because Attack on Titan is very much like some of it. Some of it kind of seems like Isayama sprinkled in some new things in there, like he was doing along the way. But other parts of it, when he's revealing like where the Titans came from and stuff, it kind of did really seem like he had planned most of that. And I haven't watched or read all the interviews. Maybe he did, so someone will probably comment on this and be like, yeah, no, he did do this or whatever. But I can tell that when reading at least just this book, that like you're sprinkling in lore that you've already mapped out and how we got to where we are now. And that's like another aspect where I'm like, oh god, I got to read the next one. Because okay, I was about to say something, but it'll spoil it. But like, okay, never mind.
This is
I was about to say some
spoiler-free
shit.
area. Don't do it.
Everyone dies. No, I'm just kidding. But like,
Eventually, I mean, that's kind of how life works.
yeah, I mean, don't they teach you that shit in school? Jesus Christ. Yeah. But like, yeah, no, like it. I think that was another cool part about it too. It's like I'm now the world building is there, and now I'm invested in, not in just the characters, but in the world, like outside of it. Like you could literally write another book that's like in the same, you know what I mean? Like you could make a universe out of it.
I mean,
using
that's
the
kind
elements.
of the hope.
Oh yes, it is, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, so here's the thing. This is a little like, this is exclusive right here. First time talking about it. So one of the things I really want to do is expand this universe in the future, but not just with like me writing it. And I know people have done this for like Dungeons and Dragons and 40K and Warhammer 40K and a lot of those big like universe like that have this immense just universe, as I said for the third time. But I want people to be able to do that because a lot of things I think fan fiction is a legit thing, and I do believe there are writers that are better than me out there. Like, and that's not to say my ideas are good. I'm more of an idea guy, you know. But I really would love to get people to write other stories in this universe, and we could all just kind of collaborate and make it even better and build it out because there's a lot of stories I know that would like, I think, supplement and be their own thing altogether. Like I want to like you could read each one by itself and it'll be fine and you could all come together and then like it would all make more sense. Like there's even like at the beginning of each chapter I do a little quote and every person in each one of those quotes, whether there be people from the actual book or other things, like I could write stories about these people. Like I really could. Like there's one quote from a book that is somewhere in the Children of Man, like cities and everything, and it's called the Righteous Warrior, and it's kind of like my play on the Art of War or Sun Tzu's Art of War, and what's the other one? The Hagakure, I think it was called, the Bushido book. But either way, like I'd love for someone to write that, like someone who's got like this tactical mind, make their own kind of like Art of War book and everything, but just set it in like this world, and you could just read it and get like I don't know, like you could get tactical information about stuff, you know, if you I don't know, stuff like that would be really cool to me. And I think again, if I don't know how much I want to like, there's other stories I do want to tell, like in other genres and stuff like that. But if I could keep Nevertold going and have other people kind of do their own thing with it, that would be the coolest thing to me. Like I feel like I'd reach the top if I could get people enthused enough that they would want to write in that.
Yeah, that would be sick.
Yeah.
That would be
tell your
super
friends.
dope.
Tell your mom.
Tell your mom. Say hello to your mother for me.
Hey beard, or hey goat, I like your beard. We should do a movie together. That's my marky mark.
Say hello to your mother for me.
Say hello to my mother.
That'd be fucking cool, man. Oh, by the way, dude, this is through your own publishing company too, which we didn't say till now. But like,
yeah,
Lovely Woods Publishing, which is where you can go to lovelywoods.co/books and get on that joint, and that's where you can buy the book, and the Amazon link is there. I'll put the link to the website and the link of the Amazon link in the description. But
yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, again, just a reminder to you listeners out there, my lovely homies. I easily could have sat here and criticized this and not been into it as much as like you know what I mean? Like, so let's say for a fact that I was into high fantasy and all that stuff, right? I would still give Mario the same critiques, right? The fact that I'm not this doesn't change, right? I'm still not that into it. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, that didn't change my mind. I'm still not into that stuff. I probably am not still going to read more books all of a sudden because of it. Whatever the fuck, right? But I would not bullshit. I would not bullshit Remy at all. I don't do that, okay? Because I think Mario trusts me with my word. And obviously, like,
absolutely,
if I were to bullcrap him, I would be failing him. So like I don't do that. I honestly, I mean, there were even things where I did say to him like, oh, maybe this and this or that or the other thing. Not that it really mattered, to me it didn't matter, honestly. It was because I know maybe that's gonna come later, in the later books. This was just my kind of story, it just was. It really just was. It's for me, it's the characters, it's the world, and it's the commentary on things that I've experienced in my life. And I kind of got into it because of that. You know what I mean? So again, maybe the next book we do, maybe I'll be like, hey man, this book was not the move. Let's get the third one out. 'Cause I don't, you know what I mean? Who knows? I don't fucking know. But like, I'm telling you now, I'm into it already. I'm invested. So like, I easily could just sit here and, tout Mario in front of everyone, and go look at it, and say buy this right now, buy it.
If you love me, you'll buy it. Yeah.
Wearing a fucking Lovelywood Publishing sticker on my jumpsuit, whatever the bullshit fucking is.
I actually
whatever.
have stickers coming up.
Oh, okay, sick.
Yeah, I'll get you one. Don't worry.
But like, I have the Lovelywood Publishing logo on my Indy 500 car or whatever the fuck. No, like this is not that. I promise you, I swear on Smokey, this is not that. It's absolutely not that. If anything, it doesn't change the fact that I would have Mario on here to talk about it, because obviously I want Mario to win. This is his book, and I've been waiting for it. Listen, I've been waiting for Mario to put a book in my hands since I was a kid. So, number one, let me have this. Number two, like, I'm not going to bullshit you. I'm not going to bullshit you. I'm not going to bullshit him. I really think that my listeners, that you guys, especially who consume anime stories similar to this every day, but this is unique in its characters, in its world, and I think a lot of you would enjoy it, honestly. I can't wait to read the next one. Like, I have to wait.
I really appreciate that.
I got this book early, so I have to wait longer than y'all, okay? So shut up. Fuck you, all right? Okay, sorry, I'm done. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, no, please go on.
Go on.
Tell me again how amazing I am. There's a few things too that are in the pipe as well. Like, there is a hardcover coming out pretty soon, and I'm just finishing that up too. And actually, one of the feedback I got from somebody who read it is like, I wasn't exactly sure how to say the name, so I was like, oh, okay, I get that. They're not combined. It's not Michael and Jim and Steven. So I made like a glossary appendices I'm putting in the hardcover that's going to be exclusive to the hardcover, and I think I'm going to keep doing that just to give like the hardcovers just something a little bit nicer and maybe a little more enticing to get a hardcover. But I also put in images into the hardcover that's not in the print, the paperback. So another nice little thing to have with that, because then you can kind of imagine some of the elements of the story. And there's one really cool image that I'll have to share with you so you can take a look at it, of Kemahni, just kind of like silhouetted and has like a halo around him, and it's kind of cool. Halo of light, not like a angel halo. But the cool thing too, though, going back to like what you said, or what we were talking about community and everything, is you've already helped me, not just by doing this podcast, which is amazing and I love it, and I'm always happy when we can just chat for a while, because you and me have been through so much that this is like second nature. I know we're doing a podcast, but it's like we're just talking on the phone, because we do this anyway.
Oh yeah, we do this all the time.
Yeah. But you've helped me with that picture that you should share with everybody.
Oh yeah, now I can share that. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I asked you to do like a lo-fi Kemahni thing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I asked you to do a lo-fi Kemahni picture so I can use it during Twitch streaming, and it's the most amazing thing. Like, it was perfect. You hit it out of the park the first time, and I just like seeing that come to life. Like, even the cover, when I first got the cover, that was really cool, and I was like, holy shit, this is it. This is them and everything. But as the story permeates to other people, and they'll start putting their own twists and flavor on their interpretation of Kemahni or any of the Manyari or what have you, it just makes everything more real, and I love it, and I can't thank you enough for that. But like for Twitch too, like I'm going every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central. I'm doing like a little writer stream where you can actually listen to parts of the audiobook. So because I want people to ingest the story, and I don't think you should always have to pay for everything. So if you want to listen to it for free, you can but you kind of got to be there every week to listen. But I sit there and I play it and I write, and I kind of, this is me in my attempt to try to actually be consistent with writing. So I'm setting times, and then you can come to me and you can ask questions or make comments about the story or whatever. But I just love, and I want to know people are reading. And I know I've sold last con I sold like 25 books. I have no idea if they read it. I have no idea if they liked it or they, that they're doing anything with it. And again, no one owes me anything. You don't have to give me a review. You don't have to do any of that stuff. But know that in a way that you can't even fathom it, it affects me and touches me in a good way. And so if anything I could ask is just any honest criticism, feedback through social media, whatever. It's always a good thing.
I think that show sucked.
Yep. Well, see you guys.
All right, I'm done.
And then I'm never writing again. The one person says they hate me on the internet that I can't ever write. Because it's going to happen. I know I'm going to get reviews like, this was amateurish at best. These characters were not well developed. Right. I think you should kill yourself and everything. And it's just like, somebody's going to say something dumb like that, And you just got to, I can't let that one person who, even if they're right, everybody's entitled to that opinion and everything. But who told, one of my other friends who was also an author, she told me, don't look at the reviews. They're not for you. They're for everybody else to know if they want to buy the book or not. And keep doing what you're doing. It doesn't change what you're trying to do or tell, whatever. And it shouldn't demoralize you, because if you're in it just for the clout, then you're not really doing it for the right reason, right? Again, I would love nothing more than to just do this as a living, but we got to work to that. So here we are trying to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's what it is. Yeah.
I'll definitely, one last thing, I know, probably wrapping up here, but one last thing I will say, I'm going to give Sam a discount code for all you wonderful Anime Summit listeners. So you can get some,
hell yeah.
Yeah. So you can get some money off. If you do buy the book from the actual publisher's website, you can get a signed copy. You buy it from Amazon. One, I don't make as much, but two, you can't get a signed copy. So, but I'd love to sign it for anybody who wants to buy it through our website. And we're trying to get some more merch on the store too. So take a look for that stuff.
Yeah, there's a poster and there's some patches. So if you're one of those people like me who has a battle vest, get a fucking patch on that bitch. Or
got some stickers coming too.
A handbag or whatever. And then there's the book literally right there. It's like the first thing in the store section of the website, which again I'll include in the description. That's the first time I'm hearing about that. He did not tell me that beforehand, but I will make sure that code is in the description as well. And signed copy, legit. My copy is signed. The signature's kind of coming off a little bit because I fucking was holding it so tightly when some shit was happening. But I was like, oh. But no, absolutely. And it was really fun drawing that because it's in my manga style. So you can tell that I did it, and it was really fun. I'll share that with that image with you guys. Actually, for the YouTube video, for the YouTube version of this episode, maybe I'll put that with the crystal.
I'll get that to you.
So then you can see the crystal moving and lo-fi. And then when Mario puts out that tunage, to study beats to study to, I'll put that on there for you. I'll show you guys because, of course I'm proud of my own artwork. It's cool. It was cool seeing Mario make that animation, and because he's went to school for it. But not only that, but it was cool to see my thing look awesome on there like that. And it's it's one of those I'm proud of you moments. I love this. I was waiting to get a book written by you in my hands for so long because of course I'm one of your biggest fans, right? Because I'm your fucking your cousin. I'm your little brother, right? So it's I'm excited. But legit reading it, it was okay, no, I'm into this. This is fucking cool, and I'm excited. So,
because I hope it does. And I think this is one reason I did want to come on the podcast again for this specific reason. Because growing up, what was our biggest influence? Video games and anime, And I really wanted to maintain that feeling. Because another thing too is I could imagine this being a comic, in a heartbeat.
Oh, me too. Yeah.
Yeah. That would be another undertaking. We'll see. Because that would be a lot of money to find, an artist to do page after page after page, and
Dude, fun fact, me and Mario were working on a comic a long time ago. I think.
Yeah, that was fun. I still have that.
I think about that story often. Yeah, I can like go on my old DeviantArt and find like the. But I look at my art now and I want to like redraw one of those panels. I'm like, I'm gonna redo this in the style because I'm way better now than I was 20 years ago, obviously.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was drawing those pages when I was like 15, 16. So, but yeah, I could easily see it being a comic in some way. I could see many different artists interpreting what the Manyari look like, given the few details of the scales and the horns and the clothes and all that. But like, oh god, super cool.
Or even being an anime for that fact. But that, if I get popular enough, that could happen someday. Who knows?
They did Super Crooks, man. So
Super
like,
Crooks.
Yeah, by Mark Millar, same guy who did Kick-Ass.
Oh no way.
Yeah, yeah. They made a Super Crooks anime. So,
See. I mean, he's got a little bit more clout than me, but
Yeah, he's had a couple movies and shit, but yeah, dude. The Kingsman, the church scene from Kingsman. That's what we're aiming towards.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it was a good scene. But yeah, dude, thank you for coming on and talking about this. I'm excited.
You don't have to thank me. I thank you because you're giving me that platform.
I mean, thank you for these discount codes, man. This is crazy. Like, I'm gonna tell everyone, like,
that's not for you. It's for your viewers.
I want another copy. My signature's wearing off.
I just got every time I come over, it's like, what'd you do? Like, I'll keep bringing my marker and I'll redo it. I'm gonna do it in like permanent black marker this time because they're permanent Sharpies, but they're the colored ones. Like,
Oh, sure, yeah. It's okay because mine's got a little note in the middle, so I'm in the fly leaf. So I'm just gonna, yeah. I'll just read that over and over again. But yeah, dude, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for the codes. We're gonna tell everyone. We're gonna make a big Hollywood, and we're gonna make a lot of money. Okay, it's gonna be great.
You and me going to the top. It's gonna be like Baba Ganoush.
You mean Gabagool?
Gabagool. There you go, Gabagool.
Yeah, we'll be so rich that we'll just order Gabagool all the time,
and then we'll see it. We're like, oh, this is not what I thought it was gonna be at all.
Oh, I thought it was some kind of pasta dish. No, it's just meat.
It's one leaf of spinach.
All this for a slice of gabagool? Yeah, dude.
Yeah. Take the gun, leave the cannoli.
Yeah, take the gun, leave the cannoli. Dude, yeah, I love you. Thank you so much.
I love you too.
Fucking proud. I'm so happy to have this book, and I can't wait to listen to the rest of the audiobook because I haven't finished all of it yet, obviously, because I only have the first couple chapters, but. Yeah, dude, and also Katie's voice is just really cute. I love Katie.
Yeah, she's the real star. Let's be honest. When you
let's
listen
be
to
serious,
it,
dude.
Yeah.
Fuck you and your book. She's the one bringing it to the.
When
top,
does her
right?
book come out? Because she's actually writing a book too, so we'll have to do this all over again.
Oh, I'm there, dude. I'm there. Fuck yeah, dude. Yeah. So, shout out if you guys want to follow. I'm actually gonna put the Twitch stream too in the description so you guys can follow. Okay, and then. Of course, there's other links where you can follow Marmar's stuff in the Twitch profile. So go there, be square, okay? That being said, I love you guys very much. Thanks for listening to Anime Summit every week. And thanks for listening to this creator series. I've gotten a few feedback comments on this creator series, and people seem to enjoy it. And I enjoy it too because I think... navigating through our society as a creative type person is tough, no matter where in the country you're from, like animators in Japan and artists in Japan get paid shit, writers are on strike again, like, for fuck's sake, so we stand with the fucking writers, okay? And obviously, like, getting your own book published and, it's fucking tough, man. It's fucking hard. And so it's like, that's why I like doing this creator series, because I think talking to other creative type people and relating to it in my own way will help, like, not only me get through it, but other creative type people to get through it. So
yeah, no one's an island unto themselves. Like, we're all in it together. Like, we all want to see each other succeed. So let's just help each other out.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. Well said, Mario. I love you. So thank you for coming on. I love all y'all too. Thanks for supporting, and I love you just the way you are. I've been Mario. No, you're Mario.
I've been Sam.
Yeah,
No,
okay.
no,
I'm
you're
Mario.
right.
That's Sam, and
I'm
we've
Sam.
been the Anime Summit Podcast.
That's the sound you make, right?
All right.
Perfect way to end it. Peace, guys. Thanks for listening.
Yeah.